Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in today's video we're going to take a close look at the GKD, the pixel version. And this is a very nice idea. They're having a very compact design in combination with a metal shell give this thing a very robust feeling. The downside to the metal shell is, of course, because it's more like a metal shell, you're having the problem of the weight, because this thing does comes with a very nice weight. Yeah, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, and the main problem I'm always having with these tiny devices that I find them not very comfortable to play for a long time. And that is absolutely one of the major problems of this particular model too. Nevertheless, in here we're finding the power switch that also indicates with an LED, like what is the power level of the device itself, and it's not over 9,000. Overall, like, the design is kind of interesting, having a 4-button configuration at the front, select start, and a tiny D-pad. The D-pad itself does come with a very long travel, more like an clicky feel to it, if that makes any sense. So over here we're having volume control and of course the shoulder buttons, or at least like the extra 4 buttons on top. So you just need to play it like this. Yeah, see, and that is the thing, you know, if you're going to be using the L1, the R1, that would be okay, but I don't see me playing on this, so that's something I just want to be honest about. So in here I find the emulator, the games, RetroArch itself, test app, and the settings. But let's let's just take a close look at it later. Let's do a chit chat about the specifications. Alright, but don't forget the toilet paper manual of the GKD Pixel. So in here we're finding some basic explanation how everything works. You should check it out, for example, if you want to adjust the brightness. Yeah, pressing and holding the right menu button in combination with the volume, here we can adjust it. So that is a very convenient thing, yep. Nevertheless, when you're looking at the device itself, I must say that I'm very intrigued the way how this, just how it looks and how it feels. Where this thing comes with a tiny display, it looks absolutely amazing. The viewing angle itself is not bad at all. Don't get me wrong, like trying to record this or do with the reflective front screen, it's quite difficult, but I just wanted to give you an idea how it will look. So in here we're finding, already mentioned, the emulator itself. So in here we're finding like separate emulators, so the configuration is not that fancy like with an emulator device. Opening up in here we're finding the list. We can open up the classic games and all those kinds of lists. You do have like a preview that has been shown, but this is going to be bringing me back to, let's say, the days of the LDK devices. For the people who are subscribed to the channel for a long time, they know what kind of products I mean. So the overall, let's say, the way how it works, it's just fine, you know, but, you know, we have seen so many different, let's say, more fancier menus. So if this is going to be improved in the future, it will be absolutely a very plus side. But the thing that I do love about it, if you can play some Street of Rage remake, and on the game list we're finding all kinds of classic ones, or just a basic chess game. You know, it's kind of cool, and, you know, there's so much that we actually can play, even Free Doom, and all kind of cool things like Heretic. Let's see if we can find, oh, we have this weird like King of Fighter clone. Opeterian is an absolutely cool shmup. So it's kind of cool. Even a custom Sonic game. Techno Balls, or what it is, or Techno Balls. It's even like a pinball game. And the Homebrew Zelda game. So it's kind of cool. We have all kinds of cool stuff that we can do here in RetroArch, and here we're finding even more different emulators that actually just utilizing a RetroArch system itself. Okay, the apps, let's check that. File manager, some basic stuff, input testing. In the beta we're finding some more application in combination easy RPG and Flash, and then the settings, and here we're kind of having the power off and all the other kind of things that you want to mess around with. So navigating is slightly different than your typical, let's say, Powkiddy or an Embernick, but the overall, let's say, way how it works is kind of nice if you actually know where everything is. Nevertheless, let's do quite like testing also when it comes to homebrew games, because those things are quite difficult normally to emulate, and they are a lot of fun. Starting off with some Street of Rage remake. Oh man, I love Street of Rage, and especially this remake version. So one of the things I already noticed, like this tiny speaker at the bottom, holy crap, this thing sounds absolutely amazing. So that is a very positive thing about it. Alright, as the first generation of these like open bore or open dinguks, it was quite difficult to play because it had like not enough power. But now we do have the option. So let's see what we're getting when it comes to overall emulation performance. So I love playing these games, a lot of fun. Everything has been unlocked, so we can actually play with Shiva, one of my favorite characters, beside Axel. I think this is one of the best 3D rated games at the moment, even if you're comparing this with all the other ones. Amazing soundtracks, such a fun, and it runs on full speed. The display looks absolutely amazing. I'm looking this actually like from an angle. But that, when it comes to the performance, I can just really enjoy this. If this device was slightly a little bit bigger, it's going to be even more like an epic overall experience. Okay, so that was that was one of those homebrew games that I just want to see. Let's check out which one we're going to be checking out more. Freedom, let's see if it's going to be booting up. Sometimes some of these, I say, free demo games are on there, but they don't work at all. But it seems to be that this seems to be working just fine. Oh yeah, this is an absolutely great way to see if the D-pad responds. And I can tell you, this responds absolutely amazing. It's a long travel with this click underneath. Not like a bad thing, but so far I can just see that this works actually pretty good. So we can use the shoulder buttons for that. Okay, shooting. Okay, if you want to exit the game, you can just exit like that. And it will automatically go back to the main menu itself. So navigating is more like the old school days of the LDK ones. Man, this game got some really cool music. But it was the techno ball game thingy. Okay, what just happened? Oh, there's my ball. I was more like, what the heck happened to my ball? Oh, that was a really nasty one. Okay, we can actually say that this thing is absolutely amazing for Game Boy due of the aspect ratio of the screen. The screen is actually like smaller than an original Game Boy, but so if you just want to relive these things on a beautiful display, this is absolutely one of the best ways maybe to play. Good sound, no problem whatsoever. Man, this is such a cool game. As a child, I've played it so much. So, but the funny thing about this game is, like, it doesn't matter which chest you're going to be choosing first, the last one always has the key. So that's a kind of been a little bit of a bummer about this game. But the music, man, absolutely amazing. But let's check out what we can actually play more. So you can just see that pressing select start doesn't do anything. So if you want to get out of the menu, you need to navigate through a different way. Okay, so this is a great example like how this thing works different compared to like Emulation devices. We have a separate button over here that's mapped to the emulator already. So in here we can make a quick load, quick save, adding even some cheats if you want to with the Game Genie over the Game Shark. So that's kind of cool. And here we can go back to the menu. That's actually how it works. It's kind of cool. It's slightly different than your normal typical machine. Pressing start will go back into the, let's say, main menu. I've been like messing around with it. I was forgetting as getting into the game list, you want to go back. You don't need to press B every single time. You just need to press start. You know, those things, like minor things that I find don't really annoying, but you need to take consideration to those things, or you need to be getting used to it. And normally with auto device, you're pressing select start or a button to go automatically back to the main menu and everything has been resetted. Okay, so next up, let's try some old school Mega Drive. Okay, so next up some Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, but I've noticed getting into the game, it's unfortunate that the emulation is not perfect. You can just hear that it sometimes struggle. It's more like, it seems to me like an audio thing, and actually a problem with the gameplay itself. But that's quite disappointing that this device has problems with it, so maybe this is more like a configuration thing that we need to mess around with. Pressing the button will give you the special menu. We can also mess with the settings if you want to map around the buttons or something else. Nope, there's no way of video settings. Close, show FPS. But you can see that because, yeah, you can mess around with it, but yeah, that's quite disappointing. But let's see what kind of stuff we can actually play more. We actually have the Mega Drive SX and the Mega Drive PD. Maybe you can mess around with it and just see if this runs better. So let's move on to the other game just to see if this has the same problems, but so far it can be like a combination of the emulator game thingy going on. So far no problems whatsoever. Oh yeah. Another system that's kind of cool to see that we can actually play some Sega 32X. Doesn't have like a lot of cool titles, but some of them are like fun to play and to just revisit, like Virtual Fighter, Sonic and the Gaiotics. But everything seems to be running fine. It's kind of weird that the first emulator we tried out with some Mega Drive had a lot of issues, but even the 32X now seems to be running just fine. But the weird thing is that like now I want to get out of the freaking game, and this game hasn't been mapped to the button. So it's going to be absolutely like a nightmare, you know? Powering on and off, you know, it's, oh man. You know, and that are like the things that they are going to be fixing maybe in the future. But so far, yeah, some emulators do have this problem. So let's take a close look at some PlayStation, because I'm really curious how that will run on this. So far, so good. Seems to be running on full 60 frames per second. No problem whatsoever here. What's kind of cool, if you're going to be pressing the button at the side here, we can swap the CD, have a quick load, quick save. You can even have the key mapper, save settings, and of course speed up settings and the GPU setting where you can mess around with it. You can even enabling and disabling the frames per second. So besides this all, you have a lot of stuff that you can actually just mess around with. And of course, if you want to go back, you can just quit it and it will automatically go back to the playlist. But let's try another game. Another great game to test out is the Tony Hawk game. And the reason, because we're going to be needing normally the shoulder buttons. But I can tell you, playing this is quite a huge challenge because I'm not really used to this all. This thing is so freaking small. There we go. It is possible to actually play this game, but it's not going to be in a very comfortable way. Oh boy. So what is a very positive thing about the Game Boy emulator or the Game Boy Advance emulator? That we do have these tiny black bars, so it gives this thing an overall better aspect ratio compared with the resolution of the display, so that's good. But makes it slightly like smaller than all the other games. But also here, no problem whatsoever. Oh yeah. But when it comes to, let's say, certain, let's say, folders, everything is so full of different kind of, let's say, games. So what you can do is pressing Y. And here we have the option to actually search. So let's say we want to search for breakers. Let's press OK. And what just happened? What? That's kind of weird. Okay. Do I have a brain fart here or what? Oh man, what a mess. Seriously. Okay, so when it comes to like trying some arcade games, it's kind of messy. But I just wanted to see how it is with the Neo Geo. Okay, so let's check out how the deeper response for this. Where this thing does have a very strange feel. I needed to get used to it, but the overall gameplay is perfect. This D-pad seems to be working just fine for shooting games, but also for fighting games. And the Emulation performance seems to be working just fine. All that way. Alright, that's nice. Okay, let's press the button over here. We can exit out. And that's it. Okay. Alright, so let's do a quick teardown. I finally found a tiny screwdriver that fits in the screws because these things are very tiny. The SD card is a 64GB with mine. It comes with the brand GameKD on it. So I don't know if it's going to be any good. I think that is something we need to be scared of, like with the freaking like weird brands SD cards. I've read a lot of people had the problem, especially with those game stick things, that they get automatically corrupted after some time, after you're not doing anything with them. So, because they are using such bad qualities, I don't know if there's going to be any same with the GameKD SD cards. So take that into consideration, back up those things, because it'll always be very annoying if they get, let's say, broken out of nothing and there is no firmware you can just add. Oh boy. Oh, wait. Oh, there are two another one. There are even like two extra ones over here at the bottom and at the top. Oh boy, getting these things loose is a nightmare. Okay, so let's remove this. The way how they made it is quite interesting and also kind of annoying, because you can just see that there's a ribbon cable going to the top PCD for the micro switches and the, or otherwise the shoulder buttons. In here we're fighting at 3000 milliamp. You can just replace it if you want to, because of the battery over here. You can just remove the cable. So that's absolutely positive. So this is version number 1 that I'm reviewing over here as you're looking at the PCB. So there's nothing much to see. Then the AIM Logic X1630, I think it is, or 1330. It's so very tiny that it's almost difficult to read. Doesn't matter, but this is the way how it is constructed. Seems to be looking very nice. And again, it's good that thing made out of metal because it's getting really hot over time. The GKD is absolutely a very cool piece of equipment, and I love this thing for what it is. But is it something I should pick up and play every single day? No, not really. I think it's just a fun novelty. We have seen many of these, like say, tiny devices. I already mentioned before the LDK, and some other companies made even more smaller ones. But I like super comfortable to play for a long time period. Not really. What do you think? Would you pick it up? I want to thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell. It would be great to see you in the next video.